As a 24-year-old engineer and surf enthusiast, Nick Leason had a vision of bringing the sensation and freedom of flying to all kinds of people, not only those who live the extreme sports lifestyle. After building a non-electric hydrofoil that worked flawlessly, he designed and constructed a board with a motor and a Bluetooth controller so that any rider can fly in any body of water, no matter the wave, wind conditions, or their athletic ability. Now, Nick's company, eFoils, is the dominant eFoil brand globally, the original creator of the eFoil technology, and now on its fourth generation of luxury watercraft. Nick, hello, and welcome to Are We There Yet?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Definitely. Well, I am so excited about eFoils and for the opportunity to get to speak with you today. So I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today. And I understand that you have a lot of cool stuff going on right now at your headquarters in Puerto Rico. I'd love to hear a little bit more. What are you up to today?
Yeah, actually, I'm in San Juan. I'm in the capital of Puerto Rico. We're at the studio. I'm up in one of the lounge rooms. We're filming some videos for new product launches that are coming up in the upcoming months. So we're getting shots down below and, covering those different products. So it's
nice.
It's a busy day on screen.
Very much so, very much so. Well, what a fun day and how exciting with the new product launch. And I'm really excited to learn a little bit more about that new product, the fourth generation of your watercraft. But I'd love, Nick, to learn a little bit more about you. I've really enjoyed the opportunity to kind of learn a little bit more about your background and really kind of the evolution of eFoils, bringing it up to where you are today. And, I always love to ask founders of organizations, such as yourself, what they're really into personally and hobbies. And, a lot of times I find that those personal interests and hobbies are quite different than maybe the business or the products that the individual is working on. But I kind of feel like that's not the case with you, that your hobbies and your personal lifestyle is very much in line with the company. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think when people talk about work and they tell you that you should do what you love, I really took that literally. So I am, I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. My family was American. They moved here in the 70s. But, my mom, she fell in love with the location here and the warm weather, the tropical weather. My father became a surfer, and he's still an avid surfer today. And so we were born and raised here. We grew up in the water, doing all the water sports, surfing, windsurfing, kite surfing. And so that's kind of part of our identity. It's almost a bit of a religion. I went off to school. I studied mechanical engineering because I love physics. I like math. And since I was a kid, I've always been obsessed with flight, and just flying. I always wished that I could be like Superman when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So everything has kind of really come together where we get to build these flying surfboards that go over the water, and we're really living the dream once and for all.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you very much deserve to live the dream because you did take that literally when people say you should do what you love, and you just went out and did it. And a lot of us, like you, dreamed of being Superman and dreamed of flying when we were little. But you said, let's do it. Let's forget dreaming about it. I'm here in Puerto Rico. I live near the water. I love surfing. I like flying. So let's bring it all together and make it happen. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been an incredible journey. And the product's better than ever, and the experience is better than ever, and it just keeps improving. So we're pretty excited.
Yeah. I'm definitely myself familiar with eFoiling. I've seen them around on various bodies of water. So a lot of us, are familiar with eFoiling and have heard certainly about the incredible things that you're doing with eFoils. But I know that there's still a lot of people out there that don't really know exactly, what eFoiling is. Would you mind telling us a little bit more about eFoiling and maybe even kind of bringing us back to, when you really, had the idea of eFoil and kind of went from, that dream of flying to actually making it happen. Would you mind, telling us how you kind of came up with the idea? Maybe educate us a little bit more about the sport of eFoiling?
Yeah, absolutely. So it is a new product. Some people are familiar with it. I think we're growing awareness of the category. So some people are aware of it, and there's still just a huge population that knows nothing about it.
Our breath is transportation. Every inhalation takes us to, and every exhalation takes us to. But no matter where we go, the destination is still on the horizon.
And so our eFoil is a hydrofoil surfboard, right? A hydrofoil is a wing keel that, much like an airplane that flies in the air, the hydrofoil flies in the water. So a much smaller wing because water is much more dense. This wing surface in the water has enough force to lift a rider out of the water and carry their weight. And so what you see is this surfboard with this teed off kind of hydrofoil below it. And as you get forward speed, much like an airplane, it's going to lift you off the water and carry you. And that's really unique because it's kind of part surfing because you're going through the water and you can feel everything inside the water. You can all the different movements of the water, you connect with that through your feet. So
Wow.
you're surfing and you're gliding through the water, but you're also up over the water. So you're flying and you got the wind at your face, and the surfboard's relatively small, right? So as you're kind of looking forward, you don't really have that in your peripheral vision, right? You're just up hovering over the water, fully in control, and you use your weight shift to steer the board. And so if I look left, my body follows and the board turns left. And if I look right, my body follows and I turn right. So you have this amazing experience, and it's propelled electrically with the lithium battery. And you have in your hand a wireless hand controller so that you can govern the throttle and your speed. So really, just with this device in your hand, you're controlling the speed. And because it's electric propulsion, everything is very quiet and silent. And because you're up over the water, you're not chopping against the surface of the water. You're up just flying really smooth, seamlessly. So amazing. You just have the sensation that I'm flying over the water. It's just me, and it's wherever I look and wherever I lean is where I'm going, and I can't hear anything else except just the natural noises around me. And so it's we've reached this really unique area with this product, and not only that, but it's very easy and intuitive to use. So many people will look at that and say, "Oh, that's amazing, but it's not for me." Disagree 100%. We get everybody up and flying. I don't care who you are. It takes a little bit of practice, just like it would on any sport or any device, anything that, takes a pilot, right?
Sure.
But it's an easy to use experience. It's very intuitive. And it's come a long way. You asked me, well, where did it come from? How did it get to be what it is?
Yeah.
Hydrofoils themselves have been around for, well over a century. Alexander Graham Bell, the inventor of a telephone, was building a hydrofoil boat. He's got some of the earliest pictures and whatnot as this mad scientist building a flying boat. And so it's always intrigued, the greatest minds and people that are just into flight and new innovation. It's intrigued them to build on that. In the 50s and 60s, the U.S. Navy did an extensive amount of research to build essentially warships, right, that came up out of the water. They contracted Boeing to help them develop these huge watercraft and to see if they couldn't get them to go faster and maneuver with greater ease, which has, translated into several ferry ships and unique ship designs that we've seen for decades. But there was this side segment, this sporting segment, and it started out in the lakes with an air chair, a sky ski. Maybe people have seen that, where there's a rider that is strapped into a seat, being towed behind a boat and flying up, almost a flying water ski of sorts. And that was around for decades until it evolved into the world of surfing and kite surfing. That's where I picked up. I was an avid kite surfer and surfer. And when I saw the first hydrofoil for a kite, I was amazed, because the first time you see it in person, you see somebody just gliding over the water effortlessly.
Yeah.
Wow, I want to do that. And that's kind of where I jumped in. We worked on hydrofoils for kite surfing, and ultimately it came to a place of, hey, look, this is too difficult and challenging for most people to do. It's amazing. You're flying a kite, you're flying on the surfboard, but it takes a lot of skill and a lot of practice to get there. We wanted to have something and create an experience that everybody could partake in. And that was essentially what became the eFoil. And, we had the idea, we were working on it. We had no idea though, what it would really become and what that would mean to people. And so that's a brief history of how we've gotten to where we are, and just kind of the exciting technology that you see out in the water today.
Yeah, definitely. That's incredible. A couple of things that really, stick out for me is that it really seems to be more than just a product or a watercraft or really even more than a sport. It almost seems to be a lifestyle. And so, I'd love to learn a little bit more about this eFoils, eFoiling, lifestyle. Are we there yet in terms of kind of a lifestyle? And is that true? Is it more than a sport? Is it more than just a watercraft? Is it really, a lifestyle, a religion, almost as you shared, and more than just kind of a typical sport?
100%. I mean, and that's the beauty of surfing, right? And this is an evolution of surfing on flat water and waves, however you want to put it. It's the world's smallest personal watercraft, but it's still a surfboard too, right? And we're moving on the water. And it's when you tap into that energy, when you flow through that energy, when you experience that for yourself, there's something so uplifting in you and so inspiring that you want to do it every day. You want to do it every day, and you become obsessed with that idea. And then what's even more fun is sharing that with friends and family. Like, I don't want to do that by myself. I want to do it with you. I want to get out on the water, and we want to go cruise together. We could talk about this. And next thing you know, you're hanging out down at the beach or at the lake, right? It gives us reason to build community. It gives us reason to spend time with our family, with our kids, with our friends. And that's a lifestyle. That's what that becomes. That's what those hobbies and those sports really become. It's a good reason to get outside, go enjoy nature, and enjoy your community, be that your family, your friends. And absolutely, I mean, anybody that's gotten into hydrofoiling, one discipline or another, they are just 100% obsessed. It really is captivating. And they just, want to bring in all their community with them.
Yeah. I've heard you describe it as really an opportunity to silence your mind, to kind of get away from all of the distractions that, especially nowadays, that we have in life, to get into a flow state, as you've described it, and really to connect, with nature. For those of us that haven't had an opportunity yet to experience it for ourselves, what do you mean by some of that? If you don't mind me asking, silence your mind, kind of getting into that flow state, connecting with nature. I'd love if you don't mind to describe that a little bit more for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's funny, like when I teach eFoiling, when I take people out on the water, my lesson sounds more like a yoga class than it does a surf lesson, because I'm like, relax, breathe, take a breath through your nose, relax, sink into the board. And the moment that people just quiet their mind, focus on what they're doing, take a breath, like everything just aligns, they sink into the board just goes steady, and now they're in the zone and they're moving forward. And they teach that in meditation too, right? Where the whole idea is to just stop thinking about everything else and just focus on one thing, focus on your breath, right? In this case, you're focusing on what you're doing. You're just in the moment. You're flying that eFoil and you're enjoying nature, but you're really just focused on really what's in front of you and flying that craft. You can't think about anything else. So it's like this kind of cheater's guide to meditation, because you have no choice but to just hone in on what you're doing, right? And it's very stable that way, but you can't take your focus off of it, because then you're no longer flying the craft. You just automatically get in there, which is, I think, probably one of the most amazing things about it that people don't necessarily pick up on at first, but that's what they're really enjoying is that flow state, is that focus and concentration. Because let's face it, right? With the world that we live in and the way that we live it, or there's so many distractions, there's 25 things going on at the same time. You can't focus on anything. So when you take a moment to pull out your toys and go in the water and you're cruising by yourself or with a friend and it's all quiet and you're just focused on just where you're flying, man, what a great feeling. What an amazing feeling to just be in there and be present.
Yeah. That's incredible, Nick. I feel like I'm getting into that flow state myself, just hearing you describe the experience. I honestly, it's incredible. And I think as you shared, in the world that we live in today, think about this, think about that, look at this, consider buying, this product, respond to this message, in this world that really, today is encouraging us to think about so many things. You're saying stop thinking about everything and just get into the moment and get into that flow state. I think there is something really, really special there that goes beyond just a product or a company or even a lifestyle. I think there's something really, really special that you're honing in on and that you provide, the ability for all of us to experience. And so that's really incredible. It's really inspiring. It's clear that you're passionate about this experience, and not just yourself, something that you as an individual were passionate about. And now you're dedicated to providing this incredible experience through your company. I'd love to learn, a little bit more about the early stages of the organization. And so when it went from something that beyond just something that you're passionate about to something that turned into a product and then to a business. Did you originally intend for this to turn into a business? And at what point was there kind of a first client or transaction or model or something that happened that, kind of turned all of this from a passion or even a project into a business?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm a product guy, and I like the experience of building something more than the experience of selling something, like by far, right?
Yeah.
And so I wake up in the morning and I'm motivated by what I'm building, not what I'm selling. Always. I mean, it is good that I have partners in my business that focus on the sales part, because we need to thrive as a business if we want to continue to develop new product. That I am 100% a product guy. I've always been that way. And when we first started our business, we started very small. I started with my father. He was generous enough to support me in some of these wild ideas. And we were building stand-up paddleboards, beautiful full carbon fiber stand-up paddleboards, racing boards.
Wow.
We were building hydrofoils for kite surfing. But it was a very small operation, a very artistic operation. And we were just learning. I was just learning how to build these items. It's hard. Working with carbon fiber and doing these composite layups and building the structural support and giving them a nice finish that somebody would actually appreciate that as a market ready product. That took years and years and years of working every day, every night.
Wow.
You have to love it. You have to love it beyond a business. You have to just, you have to want to build it no matter what. And that's what it took. And yeah, we did early days. We sold our product to friends, community. It was pretty small scale. It's when we electrified our hydrofoils and built the eFoil that things really took off into a new world, because it became so much more intriguing to the population. I mean, it really went viral, and I was kind of caught by surprise how that happened, but that's where it jumped into a different level of a business. And I had to bring in professional partners that could help us scale that business and keep the lights on. And really the product became more demanding as well, because it's complicated to build a lithium battery pack. It's complicated to build a wireless hand controller. Those kinds of items you have to take them seriously if you're going to be shipping those, delivering them to customers, and they're paying a lot of money for that product, so they have expectations, and those expectations need to be respected. So I feel all in all, things have just been very divine for me, like just the way that things have happened and how my path has kind of come to a focal point. I feel very blessed about that. And now I look back at it, now I can look at it with hindsight and be like, oh yeah, that's how it has to occur. But it really starts with that very passionate drive. Like, you have to have that.
Yeah. Wow. I appreciate you sharing that story. That's incredible. And it's clearly deserved, because it was something that you very much put the work and the time and the effort to really, perfect it. And we're very passionate about it. And I imagine that's much of the reason for your success, is pursuing that dream and that passion and really building a career and a business around, what it is that you love. And really, as you shared earlier, taking that quite literally, you've certainly accomplished a lot since those early days within the organization. And I understand that since about 2018, you've doubled revenue every year. You're now in about 400 affiliate and retail partners and over 80 countries across the globe. You've earned some incredible endorsements from top professionals within surfing and other sports and industries. And you just recently and are working on the video shoot today for the new product, but just recently announced some important updates to the Lift 3 F and new 4th generation eFoil, the Lift 4. Would you mind telling us a little bit more about these newer models?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say today we have an incredible team working at our shop. So it's not me. It's us. We have amazing energy that's driving the product, and it's an industry too, right? That's giving us feedback. Our users are part of that journey. They're driving our passion and a lot of the product ideas. So what we have shipping out the door today is our best eFoil ever. I mean, it's so fine-tuned. It's the most stable platform we've ever had. And I love it because, I mean, we're just getting into the nuances of like the wings and how well they glide through the water and how well they carve through the water, right? And the user interface with like the hand controller and how you interact with that machine, right? The electronics that we have in there have taken that almost nearly silent ride and made it even more silent, like to a point where it's eerie. You're flying over, you can't hear a thing. Now all the vibrations, all just those blades that are going through the water, like just reducing all of that to make it more and more driving to that feeling of like self-flight, that Superman feeling, right? Yeah. That's what that product does for us. And the Lift 4, everything that's shipping out the door right now, I'm really impressed with it. That new battery that we put in there is incredible. Just how fast it charges up and how much time it gives you out on the water. It's incredible. And we have the benefit of all these technological advances, right, in different industries that we get to pick and choose from to create the toy that we want to own, that we want to ride. And so we really geek out on that every day. We're building new product every day. That's very exciting. So that's kind of where we're at. And the journey continues, right? It's the best it's ever been, and it's going to continue to get better because that's naturally what we do. Yeah.
Wow. So you mentioned, Nick, geeking out. I'd love to geek out for just a moment, if you don't mind. Do you mind sharing maybe some of those specs? I'd love to learn a little bit more about, kind of the operation time that's allowed through some of the newer, battery technology, as you mentioned. And I'd love to hear, if you don't mind, even just some kind of basic specs in terms of, operating the watercraft. What can you expect in terms of kind of operation, time and charge time? You mind sharing some of those details with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So ride time has been increased significantly And that's due to a number of factors. So we as a base number, we tell people 2.5 hours on a full battery. And that may vary. You can actually get more than that if you're very conservative and very skilled at using very little energy to foil. You might get less of that if you're going a lot faster and you're pushing harder, you're, using smaller wings, less efficient rides. But that's a long time on the water,
Yeah.
If I ride for an hour, I'm pretty good. I'm spent. 2.5 hours allows me to ride and then share with a couple other friends, all off of one battery pack. And the charge time on that is ridiculous. I mean, it's maybe an hour and a half for an entire charge, but a lot of times the battery is starting at like 20%, you maybe run it down 20-25%. And if you put it on in under an hour, that thing's ready to go for a full ride. So by the time, if I pull it out in the morning and I put my charger I put the battery on charge, then I make a coffee and, answer a couple emails, that thing's ready to go. And we're ready to spend the whole morning out in the water, So that's pretty amazing. And not only that, but that thing will carry me well over 20 miles. So if I want to go explore the coastline, around my house, that's a long ride that you get to go fly and check out the neighborhood.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And that's just the battery side of things. But yeah, you're getting extended ride times, very little charge times, keeps you on the water, not off the water. We're getting, more integrated safety features into the product, which, maybe that's not like a focal point for people, but it's something important for us too. As we grow this market segment, we want people to have a good, safe time as they share it with their family members. We want to make sure that it's safe. So we've learned a lot there and implemented lots of different software updates, which are all free too, right? So if you bought an E1 in 2018, I'm still sending you safety updates and software updates that you can download via an app, right? And update not only the safety aspects of your craft, but performance aspects. That's kind of modern day tech into a surfboard. It's pretty cool. You do it with your car, you do it with all these devices. You could do it with your surfboard too. So we have a lot of items. We have a lot of items that are going there. Different wing sizes, different wing shapes as people become more savvy about their wing size and their rides and become better at the sport. Different propulsion units, different types of propellers and whatnot. If you're gliding in a wave, you can have like a folding propeller that kicks back, or looking for more power, or more efficiency, or more safety. We have all those different options. So there's a lot to geek out on there.
That is a lot to geek out on. I appreciate you geeking out for a minute and such a purpose behind everything that you shared that I think, all fall within the experience that you provide and it provides an extended, time for you to really enjoy the experience of it. 20 miles, that's incredible. And, 2.5 hour, plus operation time, that really is amazing and really cool to hear how with the propeller design and just adding kind of new capabilities and ways to enjoy the experience even more. So that's really cool. I'd love to hear about you. You mentioned, I've described a couple times, when you're out and some of the things that you like to do, but I'd love to hear when was the last time that you jumped on a lip foil and what'd you do? Where'd you go?
We get out frequently, actually. I was out 2 days ago, in front of our house out in the ocean, and we were testing new product and we're always geeking out with new setups, new wings, new propellers, new softwares, new hand controllers, you name it. So I was out 2 days ago with my top engineers, and we were doing some riding out in the surf, and it was pretty exciting, pretty fun. Always, not sometimes it doesn't always work out, but a lot of times you come in with a big smile on your face because the thing that you've been working on for a long time is working really, really well. So we do a lot of that.
Wow. That's a coolest product testing I've ever heard. So that's amazing. A couple of days with the engineers out on the water testing products. That sounds like a lot of fun. And it seems like it is something that you really encourages engaging with others, spending time with your family and friends and team members within the company. It sounds like more often than not you're enjoying the experience with others.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in our factory too. We have an amazing team that's back there building the boards from scratch, and everybody has their own rig that they've customized and custom painted. So on Sundays, we'll all get together and there'll be at least 20 of us out in the water with everybody with their own custom ride, and we're trying out that product between each other to get that kind of feedback. What do you think about it? What did you think about it? What did it do for you? And that helps us really kind of hone in on a great product, and it also keeps the passion high inside our factory. If you come to our factory, it's not like factory workers in a mundane job. They're loving what they do. They put a lot of passion into it. They're very proud.
I imagine. Well, but they should be. It's an incredible company and product, and what an experience. I can't wait to experience it myself someday. And I know that there's going to be a lot of people out there that after learning more about the experience and product and company that are going to be really anxious to jump online and to learn more about it and to get their own. Would you mind maybe directing the audience to where they can learn more about the product and company and how they might be able to get one for themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. So our company is eFoils, and you can go to eFoils.com. You're going to learn about the product. And one of the biggest things that we do is we promote the experience of foiling, not the product. And you're going to find what our main tab is our demo locations. We have, like you said, close to 400 affiliates all over the world. And so we really encourage people to go out and try it for themselves. Go get in touch with your local affiliate. They are dedicated to giving lessons out on the water and teaching you, how to properly ride a lift eFoil, what that's all about. So you're going to have a great experience from the get-go. And these are independent businesses that work with us, but that's their job, is to get people out in the water and enjoy it. And if ultimately you love it and you want to buy your own, we discount the cost of the lesson towards the product. So it ends up being a free experience. But we really encourage people to go out there and experience it for themselves, be their own judges. And then we've got the toys for you if that's what you want to continue on. Join our religion.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like a fun religion and one that really today we all need. We need to stop thinking for a minute and get away from these distractions and enjoy nature and get into that flow state. So I'm ready to do it, and you've certainly encouraged me and I know many members within the audience today. So I know that there's going to be a lot of individuals out there throughout the world that are going to be doing just that. Trying it and really enjoying benefiting from that experience. And I'm sure we'll become new eFoils owners here really soon. So I really appreciate you, especially today within your busy day and the exciting product launch and video shoot and all of the amazing things that you have going on. I really appreciate you taking some time within your schedule to talk today. This has been a lot of fun for me, and I know an incredible episode for the audience. So thank you so much for building the company, creating these types of experiences, and for taking a little bit of time out of your day today to talk, Nick. I really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you, and I appreciate your time, and happy to talk about foils anytime. So let me know when we get you out on the water, or we'll make sure we get you out on the water.
That sounds great. I really look forward to it. Thank you, Nick.
All right. Thank you.